Welcome back, Smite fans. It's game number 3 today. Denial up against ClashNSlash, and this one is underway. Let's go ahead and introduce your teams. The blue team fighting out of the bottom of the minimap in the left side of your spectator UI. They are Denial Esports North America, Mace to the face in the mid lane as Agni, Pain Divion. In the Hunter role, it looks like here, on the Freya, as he's wont to do, he's going to be pairing up with Jeff Hinla on the Guan Yu. Snoopy in the jungle today on Thor, and Rush, your solo laner, as Tyr. The red team out of the top of the minimap on the right side of your spectator UI. They are ClashNSlash and will be the aggressors today. Jerby is going to be your mid lane Vulcan this time. Peckies is going to be the Hunter on Wukong. I'm sorry, on Apollo, pairing up with Cyclone Spin on the Wukong for that duo lane. Zergar's in the jungle as Hun Bots, and you'll have Vamana being played by Divios in the solo lane. And Denial is doing as they always do and playing hyper aggressive in the early game, where they consistently seem to get the edge.
Yeah, I feel like they play the West Side Story, right? And they're rolling in a pack as a gang, just harassing and annoying in that early invade. Just going to go see if they can catch someone out. We do want to point out, of course, no Pon on Denial.
No Pon, that's right. Pon taking a personal break this week. Snoopy going to be filling his spot. They're taking a look at how Snoopy fits in, I think, in the team as the jungle role. Pon, kind of cited that he was having, just didn't have enough time to practice, really. He wasn't feeling like he was going to be at his best this week. So they're going to give Snoopy the nod, and he's played really well for them off the bench before. A couple times we've seen Rushed have to go, into work or tend to some personal matters towards the ends of tournaments where Snoopy rotates in. So they're definitely comfortable playing with this player, and Snoopy Man has been a very strong player for a long time.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see, as you said, he usually comes in for Rushed, so we'll be interested to see what happens when it's Pon that's missing this time. We are going to see those mid-Furies go down early on. Vulcan doing a pretty good job of keeping a little harassed, getting a little chip on the...
it's an invade left side blue camps. Here, Denial going in pretty hard. They're going to keep Cyclone Spin and Peckies far off that buff, but they're still going to be able to secure it for ClashNSlash, but they take a lot of damage doing so some health pot's going to be wasted.
Yep, so that's a good little engage, good little harass early on, always good, always something you want to get done. And that's going to leave them to, probably play a little defensive in that left lane. Over in the right lane, not much going on. Zergar's hanging out, waiting for that little semi-gank. He's going to come in now onto Snoopy. It looks like, no, he is, yeah, there it is. There is the attack. Snoopy's going to take a little bit of damage. Divios is going to put down that skill, that number 2, and get out of there as Gars heads back into his tower as well. A good little engage. Snoopy pretty low now. He's going to get out of there because he does not want to lose that red pot.
Yeah. The Hand of the Gods clearing the wave, led to that extra archer damage on the Snoopy. So a little bit of a hard time there, and then they get the hand of their own and are able to re-aggress. But Snoopy takes a lot of damage. Zergar's in a good position here in the mid lane to put some nice damage on Mesa Faith. It's going to take some serious effort to get a kill here. Yeah, in fact, they're not going to even find any damage. But Zergar still forces, a cooldown out of that Agni and gets Jerby a little bit of space to get an extra couple of creeps and force the Agni to take a little bit of damage from the archers as he kites them back to the tower. So around the map, and take a look at the teams, it's, I think that that it's going to be a little bit of a weaker early game here for ClashNSlash. They do, quite a bit better when they have some items on them. They're a little bit more of a later game team. Vamana, notably being that late game hyper carry. Hunbot starts really putting out tons of damage, as does the Apollo. So their late game physical damage output is going to be very high. And if they can couple that with some successful Jerby ultimates, because you wouldn't expect Denial to run very heavy in terms of matchup protection in this matchup. So Jerby ultimates could be the game changer, and it's going to be up to Hunbots to set that up.
Yeah, I do want to point out that we see Divios building that Ankh early. It's going to give him those physical protections against the Tyr, so that will give him a bit of an advantage in that lane compared to the Mystical Mark. Mystical Mark also has the physical protections, but that extra health coming out from the Ankh is going to be huge. And I'm sorry, that is going to be, yes, that is Divios, I'm sorry. So we go and look over in the mid lane. Hunbots is going to be there. He's going to try and get a little bit of an engage. We may see a team fight of sorts coming out here, as this is a 2v2. Thor rotating behind, so he is right nearby to engage as well. Peckies and Cyclone Spin are there too. The ult coming out from the Agni, going to drop some bombs on Hunbots, who is going to have to go ahead and peace out back to base.
So yeah, the team's trying to get that mid lane positioning here with that wave coming in, because the camps are going to respawn in the next 10 to 15 seconds. So they want to have lane advantage when they go to get them, to make it a little bit more of a dangerous process for the enemy's mid to rotate in there. We do have a notable pickup here for Pain to Beyond. Actually started with Heavenly Agility Rush. Face-to-face throwing out more ultimates to the mid lane. That's why you have your camera slowing down there as he harasses Jerby. But Heavenly Agility, first item with Vampiric Shroud for Pain to Beyond, giving him the extra healing, and plus the team speed up. It's an AoE speed, and so, now with what looks to be an orange buff sitting on Pain to Beyond, it's a very fast Freya, and it's going to be really hard to deal with it. And given all this movement speed, he may be able to, maybe thinking of skipping Fatal Talus potentially and going for a more damage-oriented build. We'll see how that goes as we wait for this lane to develop a little bit more.
Yeah, I like that both teams here have been very careful in their poke. They are clearly looking for a good initiate. There's the Freya Whoop on the Apollo, so we're going to see Guan Yu actually dash out as Hunbots comes in. Freya's going to be caught out here. There's the ult from Hunbots. She is going to go down to half health very quickly. She goes up into the air for the ult. Hunbots very low. I'm sorry, Sun Wukong very low. He is going to have to ult and get up into the air. Apollo rotating over Pecky's now in the area, and there's going to be no kills. Both teams playing so careful, but the Agni's going to roll in.
A little bit of miscoordination there, though. As Snoopy stuns out the back lines of Pecky's, but they're going to find the kill with the bombs, and they're going to get the banish onto Pecky's as well there. They're going to find a lot of damage. One more bomb, doesn't even need it. It's going to be secured. Vulcan Ultimate is going to be flying in as well. Going to miss Cyclone Spin. That would have been just too glorious.
Oh,
but it is going to find Pain to Beyond there. And I'm sorry, no, that's Cyclone Spin, of course, on his team, but they pick up a kill on the Freya. Beautiful play by Jerby. Now his rotation, not going to be able to make too much good on it, just the one return kill. So 2 for 1 in favor of Denial here in the early game. Definitely a trade worth making, even though they lose their Hunter.
And my God, that rotation from Vulcan needed to come about 5 seconds earlier. If he had been there for more of that fight, that would have been a completely different story. There was a disengage, and Denial made the choice to go back in, rightfully so, because they had the Agni rotating. And so after that rotation, Vulcan did not follow quickly enough. If he had, it would have been a completely different outcome. Instead, Denial picks up 2 kills for 1.
Yeah, and so that doesn't yield them a tremendous amount of golden experience lead, because they did lose that god at the end of the fight. Zero Guard's going to evade a stun there by leaping out from Mace to the face just off the right side of mid lane. And, it's kind of, playing out as we would expect. Denial being a little bit more aggressive in the early game when they know they have the advantage. They need to kind of find a way to get maybe a tower kill here in the early parts of the game and make it a little bit harder for ClashNSlash to play the stall out. If they can force out, the Thor rotation and get an early tower, or vice versa, force the Vamana rotation out and have Thor take that tower, that could really open up the game for either team. Getting that extra bit of gold and getting that early advantage, as we are so squared up. But I feel like it's really on Denial here to take it to that level and find the early push with their superior early game team, or even potentially take a team fight into a Gold Fury.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting to see some impressive rotations come out from Freya and Guan Yu. I definitely want to see a forced rotation out of that solo lane, like you said, from one of those teams. Agni putting good pressure. We are going to see that ClashNSlash is going to have to bring 2 to defend in that mid lane. We will see some rotations coming from left. Freya is going to go back over to that dual lane while Apollo rotates. Maybe to get that red? No, they're going to just kind of hang out, as there are now 3 grouped up on the left side near those mid Furies. Those timers are going to be coming up shortly, and it looks like we do see Guan Yu is going to rotate in. Jeff Hinla has the rotation on Cyclone Spin. He's going to put some good damage out. There's the dash and the slow of the wall from Thor. Not quite going to get a stun. This is an interesting position for them to be in. They are now split a little bit as Tyr and Thor head back into that right lane. Sun Wukong going to drop his monkey, do a little damage, and get out. I think they're just trying really hard to get control of this mid lane, get something pushed so that they can dominate these mid Fury camps.
Thor's going to be up in the air here, going to come crashing in, but it's just going to miss that once again as Jerby's going to beads out and start running, trying to fall back under tower. He's going to fire the ultimate off, and it's going to come out. Nuclear launch detected, but it's only going to find a hit onto Jeff Hinla there, and he's far too tanky on that Guan Yu with the Watcher's Gifts and the combat boots. Actually just doing really well off of base protections. And I want to make another point about those boots here in a second. A Cyclone Spin, though. He's going to be in some trouble as the meteor comes falling down. Didn't even need it to secure, so 2 kills. But Vamana is going to get that early tower on the right side, it looks like. However, Denial going to follow suit, and this is a good trade for them. Gold Fury for their tier 1 on the right.
Yeah, this was a smart play by Denial. They went for the 5-man push in mid lane. The Apollo's going to come in and try and steal. Pecky's is there. Pain to Beyond up in the air. Here comes Pecky's. Can he get the steal? No. But he is going to get a kill on the Thor. He's going to go down for it, of course. But, yeah, I mean, good attempt good choice by Apollo, by Peckies to get in there. I don't know how stacked he was on that Heartseeker. He did have a full Heartseeker, so maybe losing those stacks is actually going to be even more not worth, but we'll see.
And here, I mean, they forced the Vomina rotation, so Divios doesn't even get this tower on the right side, so it's a a relatively free big tranche of gold for Denial here. They're going to be up now about 2k gold. And in this early part of the game, and that's what we expect, though. I mean, we expect them to have the early game advantage, as we mentioned. So it's really ClashNSlash needs to hit a little bit later in the game. Once this Vomana gets his tanking items and his Haste and Fatalis up and running, they're going to attempt a gank here on the Rush, but he is going to bring the Law outside of that Fear No Evil and leap on out of there. Jervy does have a meatball stun, but I don't think it's going to be enough to dive the tower here. They're just not tanky enough. They need really Vulcan to be kind of maybe his old build, where he's a little more bruiser to really get under that tower, but he is more of the mage. Ultimate's going to come out here and is going to steal the red buff. Jerby, such a cheeky play there.
So cheeky. I mean, good use of the ult. It's, you know, it's got a relatively low cooldown by comparison to some of the other skills in the game. And let's take a look. He does have those CDR boots, so it'll come up relatively quickly. There is going to be a nice little fight here on Cyclone Spin. Snoopy and Mace to the Face get an early stun and just destroy him, zoning with that Agni ult as Mace to the Face, forcing that Sun Wukong back into the jungle right into the hands of Thor.
Divios trying to aggress Jeff Hinley here. Jerby throwing in damage where he can as well. He's going to eat a Meteor here, clearing the path, but he's going to stun out to clear the path, so that's not going to be available anymore, which is going to force out the Sleeping Giant, big baby now on the board. Divios just going to, do a little river dancing, run away. Thor comes crashing in, but he's not going to find anybody. Superman, such a deep fight here for Denial. The Hammer not going to find the sniper. Rush gets the kill underneath the tower onto your Vulcan. And Denial takes a really, really deep fight and doesn't get punished very well by ClashNSlash for it. Apollo just now rotating in, and he's not going to do enough to really effectively punish us. And I think that's an important fight there for Denial. They really show how big their advantage is, and maybe ClashNSlash is going to be a little bit on the ropes now.
Yeah, and going that deep and not getting punished, like you said, it shows almost a level of patience on Denial's side, right? Because if they had over-aggressed, and there was, they almost had a kill on the Sun Wukong, I believe, with the stun. No, actually, it was the Apollo as he came down from his chariot and got stunned by the Agni ult combo. Very good by Denial to be patient enough not to, overcommit. I do want to point out, Pain Devion, contrary to what we thought earlier, did go for that Hasten Fatalis, despite already having the Heavenly Agility.
Yeah, he's going to be very, 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 very fast. There's really going to be no getting away from him. And it'll be good against the Apollo, right? The Apollo dash won't be quite as effective as if Pain lands a Hasten Fatalis hit and then pops that Heavenly Agility right away. It is going to be damn near, if not completely max move speed. And then he'll be able to chase down that dash. So it's smart stuff. And, this is really going to be a great game to show how well Freya's going to hit late game. So sitting at 5,500 gold, Divios at 5,600, Pecky's at 5k. So Pain doing better than the enemy Hunter, but not quite as good as the Vomana. And it's going to be interesting to see if, with that 15% scaling nerf, she's going to be able to keep up with the Vomana and the Apollo in the late game. Divios and Pecky's, respectively, on ClashNSlash, should be really targeting that Freya.
Yeah, I want to take a look over at the gold differential, and I want to point out here, this is you know that there is going to be some tough times ahead for ClashNSlash when you look at this kind of gold graph, where it's not back and forth. There is no, one team, the other team going back and forth trading of gold advantage. This is a very steady climb from Denial, and it's not drastic. It's not, it's not stomp worthy, but it's a consistent, ongoing upward trend for Denial.
I don't know that they're going to have a big enough lead, though. Like, once this Vomana gets online, is the ult they're building going to be big enough? Jerby trying to juke away from Pain to Beyond there. His ultimate's going to come out, but it's just going to do some damage to Jeff Hinla. They're going to waste a Wukong ultimate here to try to get Jerby out, and they're going to do it just fine, but they may lose Zero Guards. Wow! They scared Pain to Beyond out of that fight. I mean, the commitment there from Zero Guards was really spot on. Jerby did a nice job using those backfires to juke a bit, missing one of those Freya bombs, saving his life. So all around, individually, just wonderful plays by ClashNSlash there. But Denial still swarming through their jungle with almost complete map control.
And I'll tell you what, you want to talk about foot in mouth. I mean, I can eat my shoe there, because that is exactly the kind of thing that Denial needs to avoid. Letting kills walk away like that, two of them so low, and that is what can turn this game around for ClashNSlash, because as we've said, they're going to be stronger late game if they get their builds up and running. So Denial needs to create that initial separation, and if they let kills get away like that, this could turn around very quickly.
They do get a nice kill into the mid lane as Thor comes crashing in. He stuns out the bird, but it's not going to be enough to follow up on. In Solo Island, Divios and Rush having a bit of a slap fight, Vamana versus Tyr. And in Duo Island over here on the left, where Vamana and Apollo have been left all alone, the Guardians having a slap fight of their own in front of the Gold Fury. Neither of them really with the kill potential or the mana to end each other's life, but they are perfectly happy to zone and let their respective hunters take really, the farm in the lane. But here it's got to be in favor of ClashNSlash. Pain to be honest, getting pretty low against Peckies.
Yeah, it's relatively, I don't know if I agree. I think it's relatively even. I think Peckies is doing a good job of building that Heartseeker. He did finish the Aussie, so his build a little bit stronger, I think, right now in terms of just raw output. But Pain to Beyond, you cannot count him out. There is going to be an Agni ult in the middle, and it's the slowdown. He will land the stun on Jerby and clear the wave. As a result, Thor picking up the red in his jungle. Tyr over on the right side, trying to get a little push on that tower, as Vamana does have the advantage in terms of tower damage. Hunbots is going to rotate to that solo lane. We might see an engage here on Rushed. I think he's got that. Yep, he has it warded, so he's going to be aware and pull right back. But in the mid lane, Jerby may get caught out here. There's the dash from Jeff Hinla. Here comes Mace to the face with the dash and ult. He's gonna beads out though. Jerby may make the escape. Jeff Hinla's gonna ult and try and chase. There's the ult from Vulcan. It's gonna do not quite enough damage to Jeff Hinla. He is gonna take plenty of damage from that stun and tower damage, so that is gonna be a 1-for-1 trade. But there is still combat going on in the middle as Mace to the face is gonna try and escape with that dash. He's barely gonna get that dash up. It just came up off cooldown. Cyclone Spin gonna go into his ult, try and finish this off. Can he land it? It's gonna be barely enough as he finishes with the one. Great play by
The
ClashNSlash.
Jingle Bang nearly dodged there. I mean, it made a hard left there to the Agni. Almost got away from that follow-up aim from Sun Wukong, but Cyclone's been able to secure it. Now they have to get out of here gracefully. It's a Tyr Thor on the chase, but not a lot of mana on the Thor. They're going to put him up onto the Tectonic Rift there, but Cyclone's been going to be maybe too tanky with the passive. Over the wall is Rush. This could be enough damage. In comes the dunk. Cyclone's been birds away. Not today. He says Divios too tanky to go in on up and running on him, and that is going to be a little bit of an overcommitment by Denial, as ClashNSlash is likely going to get a tower here out of Peckies. The Apollo passive going to come into big-time play. Gold Fury being pinged now by the blue team. It looks like they want to maybe try to reply with that. And if they get a kill on the Peckies here, his ultimate is down. They should know that based on the last fight that he initiated. They're not going to find the angle, though. Freya stopped for those mid-camps. So they're going to get him off the tower, though, at least with Jeff Hinla. And looks like Gold Fury is going to be the play for Denial shortly.
And this is where it gets really dicey for Denial, is if they can, if ClashNSlash can get these, 2-for-1 trades, this kind of just one or two times, 2 or 3 times, Peckies is going to finally go down as he stayed in that lane a little bit too long. Paved Divion rotated over and just destroyed him. Cyclone Spin is going to come back to push out that lane. But as I was saying, if they can kind of do these 2-for-1 trades, and Apollo can go and do his split push right after the 2-for-1 trade, that will be extremely powerful and can give ClashNSlash the edge they need. They are only down about just over 2.5K, so we could see something still here. ClashNSlash, I'm waiting. I'm waiting with bated breath, right? I want to see these builds finish out. Peckies' build is starting to ramp up. Divios definitely starting to ramp up his build going into that Void Blade. When we see Cyclone Spin finish his Sovereignty, their team fights will all of a sudden get so much stronger. And Zero Gars has not finished his Heartseeker either. So when he gets that finished and starts stacking, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's Divios. I don't think they've kept him far enough off the pace of the top farmers here. Mace to face, 7,800. Snoopy at 7,800. That's really good farm on the Thor jungle there for Denial. Snoopy's doing a great job, but Divios at 77, they may not have kept him down enough. I think, they didn't really get any ganks onto the Vamana at any point during the game, and he has hyper carry potential towards the end. Hasten Fatale is going to be likely the next item after his Void Blade, and then he's just unpeelable. You can't get him off you. When he's in the Sleeping Giant form, he is immune to CC, and he won't be being slowed down by his in-hands, plus he has all the HP regeneration. It's going to be a tough and a tall task there. If he buys enough time through the late stage of the mid game with his kind of carry timing to get Peckies to the hyper late game, make a lot of room for him to farm up safely without pressure from the Freya, because Freya really the best equipped to deal with Vomina, I think, towards the later stages of the game. It could turn very quickly in favor of ClashNSlash. Denial really still hasn't aggressed a Gold Fury with their early game lead. They're going to have a Thor ultimate here, though, as they want to fight near the tier 2 tower on the right side. Hunbot's ultimate going to be the setup into a 3-man Thor stun. Here comes Berserker Mirage. A lot of damage, but no one going to fall just yet. The single auto attack from Snoopy to take out Gars. Such beautiful initiation, but they don't find quite a bit out of it. Here comes Mace to the face, getting a kill in the mid lane now onto the Vulcan. Divio's trying to fight around the tower. The dive maybe just too strong. Clear the path. He's going to get him out of the way for now. Now ClashNSlash with a knock up into the Jingle Bank. He may be able to chase down Snoopy. No, but only one kill on that 3-man Thor dunk. Cyclone Spin, his passive going to keep him alive from that rushed aggression. Agni now the only one that's going to be able to really pressure him. But what a beautiful initiation with, but really substandard cleanup. Weren't able to secure a kill on any of those tanky targets.
I mean, my goodness, just look at how tanky rushed it was. He was sitting under that tower. He was sitting there going, I don't care. Cyclone Spin, come at me, bro. I really don't care. I will stand here and beat you up all day.
Mm-hmm. Here you go. Pain to Beyond, Height of the Nemean Lion in response on Freya. Doesn't want to deal with the mono damage, right? It's just like, all right, I've had enough of this. If you're going to try to take me down, I'm going to try to burn you.
Yeah, and look, I mean, this is absolutely the right call in this moment. Divios leading his team in gold. He's now at 8,400, but Snoopy and Mace to the Face both above 8,600. Pain to Beyond going to push in on Pecky's on the left side, going to try and put a little damage in. Pecky's goes down to about half health, but Pain to Beyond is going to have to back off as he does not have that ability to stay under the tower for too long. Over in middle, Agni is going to get engaged on here by Cyclone Spin, but he is going to land at alt, one of those fireballs to put enough damage to make them back off. Right lane rushed now, pushing in on Divios. And I'll be honest, despite Divios doing a great job, he has kind of reached a point where he can't handle Rushed. Rush is going to out-damage him in this lane now, so he needs to start rotating and doing some work elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, this is the Mystical Mark versus Ankh. Once the Mystical Mark's done, the player with the Ankh is not in quite a good position. So now taking yet another fight deep in the ClashNSlash jungle. In fact, it's going to proc a Snoopy ultimate here. They want to go deep, but Pecky's is in the air and should be able to counter this. It's going to be a waiting game up here in the sky between the Thor and the Apollo. Who's going to be forced down first? Pecky's losing mana. Snoopy running out of time. We're still in mega, ultra, super duper slow mode, and it looks like these are just ultimates coming up from denial just to pressure this tower. You can see how deep Cyclospin and Derby have been forced to retreat while Pain to Beyond throws in those in-hands, and we are, here comes Snoopy. He's going to come crashing down, and this is likely just going to clear some creep. In he comes, tries to find the dunk, doesn't find it. Pecky's tries to split him off from his team. It's a nice knock-up there, double knock-up from Derby. Ultimate's going to be fired off here now, but the Pain to Beyond whoop is going to keep Pecky's out of this as the Sun Wukong ultimate comes through, but Jeff Himla already matching immune on the horse. Spin to win the backlines from Snoopy, doing some nice damage, but not just going to be enough. I think Cyclone Spin and the rest of ClashNSlash should be able to turn this around. Pain to Beyond not going to have enough to pick up Pecky's just yet. Pecky's going to try to run away. Cyclone Spin may have to leap in. Cleaned up by the Agni Meteor. Needs Jeff Himla being pushed out of this fight by Cyclone Spin's decoy now. And I think that will be the end of initiation, at least for the moment. Agni trying to throw in bombs where he can, but unable to secure Derby.
And I'll tell you, what I think lost that engagement for ClashNSlash was a completely whiffed ult from the Vulcan.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and you can kind of see it in these health bars, right? You had both teams like just right on the cusp, right? One kill either way could have sort of flipped that engagement, and Denial was able to eke that out mainly because they entirely missed the damage from the Vulcan.
Yeah, that damage could have really changed that fight. I mean, but that's a pretty safe thing to say. Damage
generally
from a Vulcan is generally going to be really high, and it's generally going to turn the fight. Gold Fury does go in the way of Denial there, as we were kind of taking a look at that fight in retrospect. So they're now sitting at 6,000 gold lead, and this is where they're going to be a little bit more comfortable about taking this game into the later stages here. I think the pressure's off a little bit. They still need to pick up this mid tower. I think what they've done. They've taken the first tower. They have pressure around the map now. They have a pretty decent lead. They're going to have a big Agni. The build he's going for here is fairly greedy. No Void Stone, no protection items. He Spear the Magus gives him just absurd amounts of pen, and is going to make Pain to Beyond hit even harder as well. I think this is kind of freeing up space for Pain to go hide in the Nemean line, because Spear the Magus is going to stack up 10 magical protection reductions, so 20 total with the 2 stacks, plus percentage reduction, plus 20% reduction. So that affects the damage that Pain to Beyond is going to do. So I think this is a very smart build from Denial, and they should have enough damage now to really be able to force most of the non-tanky targets out of the fights, and they're putting a lot of pressure now on Divios to carry this game from the Vomina role.
Yeah, and you do see the Witchstone starting to come out from Rush, which is a really smart play here. Between Divios, Cyclone Spin, and Pecky's, shutting down that attack speed is going to be super helpful. And it allows Mace to the Face on the Agni to go super hyper aggressive like that. We do see that there's an engagement in middle lane here underneath the ClashNSlash, I'm sorry, underneath the Denial Tower. Cyclone Spin is going to get knocked back into tower range. He is going to take plenty of damage. He's going to try and ult out. Pecky's coming in with the ult. He's going to land on Snoopy and Rush, but not doing much damage as they are solo level. Cyclone Spin almost down. I'm sorry, he actually backed out with that ult, as I said earlier. That was the clone, and I got misled myself. Pecky's is going to have to back out. He's going to use that sprint to get out of dodge. Snoopy goes up into the air. Here comes the ult from Jerby. Is it going to land on? Yes, it is. There's the ult. Cyclone Spin is going to go down in the process, but Divios is going to chase down that Guan Yu for the kill. So a 1-for-1 trade so far. Zerogar still looking to get out solo. Not able to land from Rush to get the kill, but they are going to kill Divios. There is a 3-man collapse on Divios, and that's going to be big.
Yeah, killing him. First kill that they're going to get on him this game. He's going to go into Bulwark, has to deal with the Agni now, so it's going to, it's going to stall his Hasten Fatalis a little bit longer. And this is going to give Denial the opportunity to take down the rest of the towers. The tier 1 tower, certainly, maybe even find a tier 2. Perhaps another objective. Goldfear going to be back up in about another 3 minutes. So this is looking pretty good for Denial. They did get a nice fat lead before the end of the kind of early game period. They're now extending their lead through mid game. They haven't let Vamana get online yet. They haven't been getting caught out. I think most importantly probably by the Pecky Zerogars Jerby combination. It's very easy when they're taking fights that deep to get turned on with a big ultimate combination. With these with that big control ultimate from the Hun bots plus the rotation from Pecky's and the ultimate from Jerby being such long range, it's very easy to get caught out like that. And they have done a very good job of avoiding that and have kept the pressure on. And now it's basically they put the game entirely on the back of Divios here as ClashNSlash, and he has to come out swinging in the late game if they're going to find a way to win this.
Yeah, and the lack of rotations early from Divios may be the deciding factor here, as like we said, they needed to kind of keep it secure, and they've just been kind of eking themselves further and further behind. And we go look at the gold differential and that XP differential. Again, there's that steady climb. They have a little bit of a dip around that about maybe 20-minute mark as they did go down in 1 or 2 fights. But again, if the momentum that Denial has had since the beginning of the game keeps going, it's fast enough to outpace that late game advantage that ClashNSlash should have had.
Yeah, and still Denial just swarming, just full map control here. Even without Fire Giant buff, they were put so much pressure on, and really when you look at it, Denial has the better team in terms of mobility. I guess. I mean, Apollo a little bit better split pusher than maybe Thor. Mesa face bombs, doing entirely too much damage from Zerogars, and that's the danger of running the melee kind of assassin initiator there to really open up all of your team fights. It's so important that he gets in there as nuclear launch is detected, comes out, and bobs Mace in the face, but I don't think it's really enough to maybe turn this fight in favor of ClashNSlash. Jeff Inland, the backline, is going to zone them out. Pecky's comes crashing into the tower, already down, and now this is going to be a tough fight, I think, for Cyclone Spin to continue, as Denial is not very low at all, and Augie Bomb's hurt real bad. Pain Beyond throwing in with Valkyrie's discretion there. Snoopy now going to just start using the Thor ultimate, and that should cover the Denial escape, but it looks like they want to continue this engagement for now at least. The tier Guan Yu combination, just, Pecky's. Poor Pecky's. Gonna only get hit by a bomb, barely missed that ultimate. Did the Thor there of Snoopy. So now Denial going to go ahead and back off. They got what they came for, that tier 2 in the mid lane. They've got their nearly 9,000 gold advantage. They're going to clear out some jungle. They're going to get right to Hootie finish here on Mace in the face. He has enough gold in hand to go back and pick that up. And then they're going to look to go ahead and re-aggress. In the meantime, Pain Beyond working towards Gem of Isolation. So that, kind of answers the question about what his build is going to be on that Freya.
Yeah, and I want to point out here that one of the big things that's going on in these team fights is that they literally have kind of an opposite situation here in terms of who's got kills, who's got gold, who's got a good build rolled out. Mace to the face with that obviously huge AoE, control in addition to damage coming from his ult. On the other side of the table, Jerby, who is relied on very heavily for his AoE damage and control, has such a early build. He's so early in his build, he hasn't even finished his Void Stone, that he's not able to contribute in any meaningful way. And so team fights are not going to go in the way that ClashNSlash wants it. They need to get a couple of picks here. Apollo doing his job, split pushing off to the side in that right lane, trying to get that second tier tower, which as we know is worth a little bit more gold than those first tier towers. Denial going for Gold Fury though, doing a really good job of zoning Mace to the face, absolutely decimating Divios. Look at that damage coming from that ult. And here you see Jerby ulting to try and get the steal. Not going to be enough. So little damage coming from that ult. There is the knockup though, as Rush is going to go into the air, try and get that final hit on the Gold Fury. They do land it, and we see Cyclone Spin is going to be in trouble here. Although, no, I'm sorry, did that Gold Fury go to Clash and Slash?
No, it went to denial. You can't out-swindle a swindler, and Jeff Hindla is the #1 objective stealer. Jeremy get ulted behind, but another Zero Guard's ultimate is going to save his life as it did so long ago in the early game there, and now ClashNSlash going to fall back, less 1 Sun Wukong. Apollo, in the meantime, finds a tower and a Phoenix on the right side, so not all bad for ClashNSlash. They actually recoup that last Gold Fury almost in its entirety. They kept this lead to now back under 8,000, but it's really less about the amount of gold they're up now and more about the amount of pressure that Now's able to put her on the map with the items that they've gotten out.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Bart. Pull up the gold differential, and this is normally, you know, they say don't ever disagree. We do see a kill coming out on Apollo in the mid lane as they do this 5-man push denial. But I'm fairly certain that ClashNSlash got that Gold Fury because you can see the dip right near the end there, and then it comes back up with the kill on the Sun Wukong.
Yeah, and so now without that Sun Wukong, they don't have that decoy to kind of tank up, minion aggro and really the control Sun Wukong brings, the toolkit, as we like to say. And Cyclone Spin's going to continue to aggress here, though, but there is the Heavenly Agility. Bye-bye denial. They are gone, and they're so slippery, as we mentioned in the early game as well. A lot of teleports, a lot of dashes and whatnot here on these teams. So out they get free and clear. They get a response Phoenix as well, and they're up by just a boatload of gold as they've taken most of the towers off the map.
Yeah. So I think this one is, you know, the story is pretty much told here. We're almost up to a 10K differential in gold, 9K gold in favor of denial, 13K experience, and just, I mean, look at the KD numbers. I mean, this is going to be virtually impossible for ClashNSlash to make a comeback on. I mean, there's not much more to say. We've kind of said all there is to say, right? This game was decided at about the 10 or 15 minute mark, right? If ClashNSlash, as we said, wasn't able to make that sort of late game push, there's nothing they can do. I don't see a way out of this for ClashNSlash at this point, Bart.
You know, they are still, you know, waiting here a little bit. Like, Fatalis just started on Vamana. He'll be getting that online at some point around 30-ish minutes. You'll have Peckies. You know, he's quite a ways away from being 6-slotted. I still think ClashNSlash wins in man mode fights. You know, if they're just going to man fight it and they're all 6-slotted, I think ClashNSlash has the superior team. But they have to pick Agni off. Like, they can't fight anymore with Agni. They Spear the Magus, you know, as this is kind of the Lionheart line, and this is his really kind of the signature analysis he always brings about Spear the Magus, especially with Agni. Is it because his passive, as I think Jeremy's going to get dunked on here in mid lane, the way his passive works is if you have it stacked up, your next ability, either the Flame Wave or the Agni Bomb, will dot up your target, so it applies all the stacks of Spear the Magus very, very rapidly. So when you get hit with one bomb, getting hit with the second bomb, it's very hard to tell how much damage that second and third bomb will actually do to you when Spear the Magus is up and running, and that is very, very tough to deal with, especially when you're playing something like Vamana, where you're used to just being able to go and tank up as much as you want in the fights. Spear the Magus just ripping through that bulwark.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, you'll see Spear of the Magus on those gods with those dots. Agni, Zhong Kui is a great example with his tags. It's such a strong item on anyone who's got that dot damage. They're going to go in for this Phoenix. Denial, I think, going to crush it here. Apollo is going to ult in. There's the Hunbot's ult to try and hold on to this Phoenix, but man, there's just too much damage from Pain Diviana, and they cannot do anything about it because this is a very, very tanky Freya. Yeah, and really in that fight, Denial kind of just ignored ClashNSlash there and took the tower out. Now they're going to try to get out of as much as they can. This Agni Bomb's going to hurt a lot. Oh, the tear dunk comes in as well, but I don't think Rush was quite fast enough on his Fearless there. Not going to be able to pick up Cyclone Spin. Now eating the crits from Peckies, who does have Malice finish, and that's going to be a dead tier as they fall back. Freya made it out of there as well, and as you mentioned, yeah, she is quite tanky. Gemo Isolation contributing a nice 250 HP, plus the extra 200 from Hive with physical protection. ClashNSlash. They're making a play. Risk is on the table here, and they're going to go for it. Agni does no. Agni no. So Mace of the Face can see this here. They actually have the ward. I'm taking a look at ClashNSlash. Do they have the damage here? Letting the turret do what it can. Putting down another one. They need Cyclone Spit in here. He has hand. Fire Giant secured from ClashNSlash. This could be the comeback right here. They're going to get... No, barely not enough gold for Hasten Fatalis still. Rank 2 Fatalis up and running. Titans made nearly enough for Peckies. He needs to get Deathbringer online, so about another 4,000 gold until Peckies is really up and running. And once he has that about 17,000 total gold farmed on him on that net worth,
that is where you look for Peckies to turn the corner and maybe be able to turn this game. This one could very, very well get exciting.
Yeah, this is a big deal. They made that push in right lane, and that's a big deal to lose that tower in right lane, though, because that is the only lane that they have pushed at all. The middle Phoenix has just come up, though, so they need to put up a big defense in mid. Those kills, in exchange for that Phoenix, I mean, let's be honest here, getting a Phoenix, great. If you're going to lose a Fire Giant out of it, bad call. So this is exactly what ClashNSlash has been waiting for, and we will see if they can make use of it. There is going to be a small engagement in mid. We see the meatball coming out from Jerby to keep Rushed and Mace to the Face out of the way, and they're going to play it safe, though. They're going to roll back. They're going to group up, make sure that they're getting a team fight, which is to their benefit, obviously, at this point, as these builds are coming to almost full. We do have pretty much 5-item builds across the board, and it's starting to shape up as Pecky's dishing out a lot of damage, and he essentially made this possible. That with the gold that he's getting from the split push, it has kept them in the game to some regard.
Push sponsored by Peckies. He's now going to go solo down the Gold Fury. Well, Clash, I was kind of wondering why they weren't being aggressive here with this Fire Giant buff. Jeff Hinla, he's perfectly happy to be aggressive. Finds one stun. It's going to be beads out. In comes Thor. Thor didn't even take a look over at the Gold Fury. That's still being soloed down by Peckies. But it looks like Peckies is going to ult and try to join this fight. Big time ultimate coming in, but it's just so off target. Not even synchronized with that Hunbots, but here is Divios doing a lot of damage. You can see when he's able to get the hits, he's doing quite a bit. Rush comes dunking in this fight, trying to get the backline, find Jerby. Down will go Jeff Hinla. Divios starting to turn the corner here. Needs that extra run speed from the Fatalis, though, being slowed by Pain to Beyond. Gem of Isolation doing work for the Freya here. Jingle Bang not going to hit Snoopy. They are going to try to burn him. Divios now has drawn the attention of the Agni, and he cannot deal with the burst so far. A nice meatball coming out from Jerby. They're staying in this fight. Rush taking a lot of magical damage from the turret. Can they turn this around? ClashNSlash needs to find the damage. They do! Jerby takes out Rush, and they find a 3-man kill. No Gold Fury just yet for them, but they're going to be looking for it shortly. ClashNSlash continues to climb out of the hole.
Dude, that was an unbelievable job by Divios to zone out Freya and Agni. That was all their damage. All of their damage, their significant damage, was virtually negated from that fight, even though Divios had to push really hard and did take some significant damage and did eventually have to pull back because of that Freya, who has so much, so much damage against Divios. They were not involved in the rest of the fight, and their entire team, ClashNSlash, able to focus down Rushed, Snoopy, and Jeff Hinla. Great play by Divios to secure that victory in that engagement.
But it's not without some pain. Titan going to take about 60% of his HP from fire minions there during that fight, which I think explains a little bit about why Denial initiated there in the mid lane up against the Fire Giant buff. They figured, hey, if we can stall, we're going to get a lot of damage through this Phoenix. The Phoenix may have even fallen again during that engagement. I'm not sure if it did indeed or not. But all in all, I mean, Denial, they're going to get Gold Fury here now, it looks like, as well as ClashNSlash forced to fall back. But that's, getting less and less important as the game continues on, and the gold means a little bit less. But Haste and Fatalis now done on Divios. He's working towards Titan's Bane, so he's got his Haste and Fatalis carry build up and running. This next team fight is likely going to determine whether or not ClashNSlash will stay in this game and be a threat into the hyper stages of late game.
And it looks like they did not get that Phoenix in that previous engagement, as the Phoenix has just now come up. So they're going to have to defend this right lane really hard. And if they can get another engagement like they just did, defending, they were down. Let's point this out here. They were down the Phoenix in mid and right lane. Both Phoenixes now back up. That is, that's pretty indicative of ClashNSlash's ability to really hang on here at the end. At one point in this game, they were down 10k gold. They are now only down 6. This is a much more manageable situation. They were down 13k experience, now only down 6.5. Here comes the engagement. You are going to see Jerby go down. He does drop the ult to try and turn the tables, but his teammates are not there to re-engage. Divios going deep for Mace to the Face, who is low. He is going to pop his beads to try and get out, but Apollo's going to come in with the ult, landed on Agni, and there goes the Agni. That's a lot of damage lost for Denial. Pain to Beyond, very low now. They are focusing him so hard, but Apollo's going to get taken out in the process. This is a big engagement. Divios going big, baby. Can he kill that Pain to Beyond Freya and turn the tables on this fight? He's chasing. He is going to get the kill. Unbot's actually going to secure it, and this could go well for ClashNSlash.
Yeah, Divios has to stay in there. The main problem here is that Peckies was cleaned up too easily by Rush. Stunned out as Divios. This could be their opportunity. They need the fearless lockdown to keep him in. Oh, no, they'll have enough. Yep. No problem there. Down will go the baby, and that may very well be the signal of things to come here as Denial's going to push in for the Phoenix. A lot of damage came out. But yeah, it was Peckies got the great initiation, cleaned up the Agni, got that damage out of the fight. but then he was locked down by Tier and bursted straight through. And if they had the crits, Deathbringer 2 and Malice from Pecky's with a late game damage build here and a Titan's Bane, it would have really helped tear through the Thor, Guan Yu, and Tier, who you notice have all survived the fight. Not enough physical damage output from ClashNSlash. Jerby's ultimate. Nope, it's going to be Aegis out by Snoopy. No ults for you today, Jerby, as they're now going to continue to aggress the tower. And they just tank it up, no problem. Phoenix tanked. They are, of course, a little bit weaker as it is their second respawn, but once again, just one Phoenix remaining for ClashNSlash, and they're going to need another set of big plays to get back into this game once again.
Yeah, again, they're sort of clinging to dear life here. That engagement did not go the way that they wanted it to, but they're still in this game. Mid and right Phoenix down. You're going to see Denial rotate to the right. They were going to maybe go for that Fire Giant, but too many ClashNSlash players come up too quickly, and they're going to just kind of back it off. It is plenty of wards to cover that, though, so they will know if ClashNSlash goes for it again. And if they can pull another Fire Giant out of this, very good job sort of seizing the opportunity earlier. One more Fire Giant could turn it around, as they are still not out of this game. They're back up to about a 7.7, 7.8K gold gold shortage as compared to Denial. But here comes the Apollo split push. Pecky's on the Apollo. So good. That tower's already at half health, and they're just stalling right now. We do see that Denial is going to go for that Fire Giant, though. They're going to take this opportunity while Apollo is out of the way to try and get this Fire Giant. They're going to zone out north of that Fire Giant to try and keep Gars and Divios from getting in there and stealing it, and they're going to do a really good job as Pain Divion goes up in the air for the ult. Zero Gars is so low, and Rush just does not care. He keeps going so deep.
Yeah, and they forced Zero Gars out there, and that's a lot of the lockdown with that Homebot's ultimate. Crashing in now is Pecky's at the Fire Giant. Fire Giant, Agni Bombs ripping through him. ClashNSlash gets the steal, however, right in Jeff Himla's face.
Oh,
and now
my
they
goodness.
just need to get out. They're going to try to chase this down. Divios picks up a kill on the Snoopy in the backlines. Baby too strong. He's going to chase out Pain Divion. No problem. Hazen Ventalis doing work. ClashNSlash is going to try to bring this one back yet again, Nietzsche, and they have no quit in them. They're going to keep on trying. They find another Fire Giant, and the Baby is just wrecking people now. And there is going to be crit on the way, I'm sure, for that Baby eventually, and it's going to continue.
This is unbelievable. They are doing such a good job of finding that perfect moment. I can only imagine what is going on in their mumble right now. I have to imagine that all you hear is now, go, go, go.
Yeah.
Because, their timing has been impeccable. They are no question behind. They are no question losing some important engagements, but they are absolutely focused on taking every opportunity they can find to turn it around. And, go look at the gold graph. Go look at the XP graph. This tells the story of this game so well.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, man. It's been in Denial's favor so far, but ClashNSlash making the plays. And I love the style they're committing to here. They know they have the big-time late game, and they're taking major risks on the back of it. They're really putting that down as the equity in these fights, and now they may have overextended themselves as Zero Guard is going to be forced to get out. Rush is going to try to ult him down, but doesn't find that slow, so it looks like ClashNSlash is going to disengage A-okay, but they're really taking risk, and they have to, right? They have to make big plays to get back in this game. It's not going to be the kind of game where they can just play, they can play well and play safe and make the right choices to win. No, they have to play aggressively. They have to catch Denial by surprise and overcome that gold lead with really just outplaying and really relying on getting that Baby to the back of the fight at the right time and having him river dance all over these damage dealers.
Yeah, and Pecky's, I have to say, doing a phenomenal job this game. He is on fire. He is everywhere that he needs to be. He has never missed a fight. He has never missed a split push opportunity, and that is really helping them to stay in this game. And we talk about this regularly. When you're behind like this, when you're in the hole, you have to take opportunities, and you can't just sit back and defend. Nobody's going to hand you opportunities at this level of play. So these risks that they're taking is exactly what they need to do, and they're doing it. And you have to assume that they've sat here and said to themselves, okay, we have to take this seriously and go when we can. And
yeah, it's all in.
I'm so impressed. You can tell my words cannot even describe how impressed I am
right.
with ClashNSlash's ability to stay in this game and really make this a phenomenal game to watch.
Well, it's another just, it's the word is all in, right? They're playing it so well. They're going all in when they fight, and they have to. And it just, they have to be patient. They have to take a really good fight, and they have to make sure that they are going to take a fight that they can stall out long enough without melting to get Divios to the back lines. And when he gets back there, then he can just wreak havoc. But one thing I do want to point out here is Mace to the face with a Book of Thoth, last item fully stacked, is going to have the most magical power you're probably ever going to see in competitive play. 720 magical power on that Agni is just a nightmare. And how are you going to deal with that output? He's going to be damn near one-shotting Pekkies and Jerby here with just a focus Void Stone on Jerby there. It's an ugly, ugly proposition. Look for these Agni bombs in this next fight to really turn it. But it looks like ClashNSlash is going to chase down here. They're going to have Apollo ulting up. He's not going to get any knockups, and now he's in between Thor. Jeff Hinla going to go ahead and proc his ultimate now. Snoopy's going to go up in the air. There's a ultimate coming out from the Humbots as well. Nuclear launch coming in, doing a lot of damage to Snoopy, but they're going to be able to pick off Pekkies too, and that's just such a bad overextension by ClashNSlash. So unfortunate. Missing the knockup from that Apollo ultimate just hurt them so bad. Divios does keep Pain Divion out of the fight, and now he's in the Sleeping Giant form, and he's going to look to turn this fight in favor of ClashNSlash.
I do want to point out Mace to the Face is very low, so he's going to have to stay at range, and if he gets picked off, you know, it could be ugly. They are going to do some really good damage to Snoopy, who is going to go and use that Aegis, and he's going to get taken out immediately as he comes out, so it is a one-for-one trade right now. There's the ult from the Sun Wukong onto Pain Divion, who is so tanky, and he is just backing away as he does so much damage. Zero Gar is getting very, very low. You see the dash from Divios is going to control this engagement, and it's almost a standoff now as we see both teams so low that they're going to have to split off, and it's, you know, that one's kind of a wash, despite Pekkies with, I mean, what can only be called a horrible entrance, a horrible engagement. That is what they cannot do, okay? ClashNSlash, with so much damage coming out from Ace to the Face, with the burst that Denial has right now, they need the perfect engagement. They cannot risk these kind of, I mean, obviously you have to take the risk, you have to make the move, but Pekkies, if you're gonna go in, you have to know that you're gonna get the right engagement, that you're gonna be able to pick someone off early, and then let Divios just go to town, boxing and controlling.
It's, you know, an important kind of part of that last engagement, the trade there was Pekkies for Snoopy. You know, the jungler traded out for the Hunter, the range carry role, and if ClashNSlash would have, you know, somehow found a way to trade maybe Jerby or Zero Gars instead of Pekkies there, they could have gone for objectives, but because Apollo was dead, they couldn't. Denial doesn't have quite as good of an objective team with Pain Divion and Freya. Doesn't scale as well into the late game as Hunters do, of course. With I mean, basically the way that you can think about that is that a physical damaging god does 100% of their physical power every time they in-hand, where a mage does about 35%. So Freya's base damage on her in-hands, you know, less cut of the Pulse Irradiate combo, is just, you know, is 65% lower scaling than a Hunter. So she's going to start being a little bit less effective, and certainly isn't going to be able to 1v1 Pekkies the Apollo as effectively anymore.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the engagement still going to go in ClashNSlash's favor as Pekkies not worth as much as the Snoopy, but the loss of the ability to take those objectives is certainly a big deal. You will see ClashNSlash going for this Fire Giant, man. This will be if they can pull this off, this will be the third Fire Giant that they've gotten. You see Denial is very spread out. They do not have Mace to the Face there. Pekkies is split pushing, and you will find Denial pushing them off of that Fire Giant. They are going to disengage and start the combat with Denial direct.
Oh, Jerby! Oh! He finds a good one. It's going to do a lot of damage to Russ. He's going to force out the Aegis in the backside for Snoopy as well. So they're trying to continue engagement here. Jeff Hinla's quite low. I'm surprised to see him re-engage on the horse and doesn't even find any stuns. Zero Guard's trying to chase down Rush. Apollo is going to come aggressing in as well, dashing into Jeff Hinla on the backside. Rush comes dunking in. Mez, auto attack, down goes Jeff Hinla. No more Hog 3 available on the board for Denial, where you have both Divios and Cyclone Spin with Hog 3s to take out this Fire Giant. Snoopy, man, now the one in some trouble. It's going to be tough for him to get out. Mjolnir's attunement, but Divios is there. Doesn't turn around, tries to find Pain Divion. Doesn't matter. They still secure the Thor. Two of the bulkier targets down. A lot of the CC gone for Denial. ClashNSlash. This should be a pretty free Fire Giant, unless there's some kind of miracle play coming out. But with the Hog 3s for ClashNSlash, it's basically impossible for Denial to lock this down. They will kill Jerby, though, and you know, it's going to slow down their ability to take Fire Giant. At least Cyclone Spin and Pekkies staying in there. But there it is secured. 4 members have it. And it's a very, very nice trade yet again for ClashNSlash, who was making good on their late game here and really, really wrestling this one back on Denial.
Yeah, you know, that was a friggin' brilliant play again by ClashNSlash to have the Apollo split, pull Agni off into the left lane. Agni was not there for any of that fight. The only contribution he made there was in an attempt to steal that Fire Giant with his ult. So using the Apollo incredibly well. Again, Pekkies carrying this team, maybe not in kills, but certainly in strategy.
Yeah, they've they're doing exactly what they need to do. They have the hyper late game team. They're going to spread the map out with Pekkies, exactly what, you know, Apollo is best at. In the meantime, Pain of Yon going to, you know, consolation prize here is going to solo down the Gold Fury for a little bit of extra gold for his team, but that really is just going to go to wards and maybe, you know, magical and physical might potions. You know, the 400, those are 400 gold potions that give you an additional 20 and 50 power, physical and magical respectively there. So it's really going to be mostly that. I mean, Mace to the Face, you know, like we said, sitting on 720 magical power, going to be able to steroid that up to about 770 with that pot. So it's, you know, there's really not much more Denial can do with this extra gold at this point. You know, they're basically, everyone's maxed out around the board, 6 slotted, and now we're going to start replacing items. And if it got to this point, we were saying all along, ClashNSlash should have the advantage with Didios, and they certainly have, but they still are unable to, you know, directly go in 5-man here. I mean, you can see they're not really willing to just 5-man up and push through the mid.
Yeah, and that's going to be the shortcoming here. You know, as we said all game, and I've, you know, broken record here, but ClashNSlash really does have the better late game team, and it shows. They're 5K gold behind, but you know, builds are full, so that doesn't really make a difference at this point. And you'll see them winning most of these engagements, you know, assuming they don't get caught out, assuming that they are engaging on their terms. And this Apollo split push, man, is just going to keep on hurting them. Over
yeah, never stops.
Never stops.
One thing that we should note is that the Phoenixes have gone down on the red side of the map, and so they respawn with about half the HP. So they're going to be a little bit weaker, the mid and right side Phoenixes for ClashNSlash. So, you know, they still have those full Phoenixes to push through of Denials. And, you know, Denial, I think, is now wants to play the waiting game and try to wait out this 5-jump up and force ClashNSlash to initiate into them at this tier 2 in the mid, while Pekkies pushes down this left side up to the Phoenix. And it looks like both teams are perfectly happy to go ahead and play that waiting game.
You know, I want to point out here, you've seen a fundamental difference in how Denial is playing this. I don't want to say they're playing this, you know, passively, but they're definitely not engaging on their terms. They are getting pushed around, and they need to fix that problem if they're gonna win this game.
Yeah, it's a tough proposition, though. I mean, right now with the Fire Giant buff up and running on ClashNSlash, they can't really fight them in a direct 5v5, but ClashNSlash is still giving so much credit. Mace to the Face eats one meatball into a Jingu Bang. Oh, man. And a beautifully placed ultimate, but just dashed out of, just as we mentioned, and have mentioned a couple times during the game, Denial is such a slippery team. It's going to be a really tall task for Jerby to hit any of those without Zero Guards opening up with the ult, but we still haven't seen that really come together for them in a meaningful way. Now that ultimate's going to be down, but of course it is a max cooldown on Jerby here. Jeff Hindla rotating in with the horse, down crashes Snoopy, so those two ultimates are now off the table. Hunbot's ultimate coming, raining in, and this should be enough. Divios is just going to go in the backlands. Look at him just harassing Mace to the Face, keeping him out of this fight. They don't want the Augie Bomb doing too much. Pekkies is going to get cleaned up by the Pain Divion ultimate there, and now it's Rush trying to get back to the backlines where he's going to slow down the team, find a fearless combination, but nicely Fist of the Gods stunned out by Zero Guards. ClashNSlash continues trying to disengage, and Denial wants to find those kills. Divios actually gets taken out by Mace to the Face. Such a brilliant play there. Solos down to Vamana, and this could be a victory now for Denial if they're able to disengage here gracefully and not lose too much. Cyclone Spin re-engaging, and the meatball coming out. That's going to be enough to secure Jeff Hindla. Down you go, sir. Another meteor comes crashing in, but it's not enough to pick up Cyclone Spin. And I think that ClashNSlash killed enough of Denial there to prevent Denial from getting too aggressive and taking this game back in their favor. We're still basically at a stalemate.
Such a great play to secure those 2 final kills, making that an even trade, because let me tell you something. Divios dying to Mace to the Face like that, not okay, Divios. Not okay. You need to control that. And if he had been able to stay alive, that could have, you know, turned into a 3 or 4, because that 4, Snoopy, was really low at the end of that fight. And if Divios had been there coming in from the back line, that could have been a huge advantage for ClashNSlash. Good on them for turning it around at the end, getting those secured kills, and you know, keeping it even and not having this become a big problem for them as Denial makes a huge push. But man, this match has been obviously my favorite of the day, possibly one of my favorites of the past several months.
It's been an absolute treat to watch this one. If you are just joining us, guys, we're in the round of 8. This is ClashNSlash versus Denial, 2 of the best teams in NA, definitely, I would say in the top 8 between the 2 of them here, pretty comfortably going at it here. And one of them is going to be getting knocked out of this tournament before the round of 4, and neither one wants to be the one knocked out. ClashNSlash, the red team here, aggressing the Fire Giant, and they want to force yet another fight from Denial. They've already forced out a Snoopy ultimate, so no Thor initiation here, but Mace to the Face is going to come over the wall with these meteors, and he's sitting at 790. magical power, doesn't matter. Fire Giant easily secured. Snoopy blown up.
Oh, Snoopy.
I think Denial may have just, maybe it's, just kind of being tired, but decision-making process there was just not where it needed to be, and they're going to pay for it dearly. Nuclear launch detected coming in, and this one's going to hurt. Almost one-shotting Mace to the face there. He almost got one shot. That was disgusting. River Dance out on top of his face. Nothing you can do about that. Cyclone Spin's decoy doing loads of damage to Hinla. In comes a res, and ClashNSlash, I think, has just secured this game.
I think that's a win for ClashNSlash. That it has to be. I mean, and let's look at the goal differential as they go on to, I'm sure, push and win this game, as they are, have that Fire Giant buff. Freya, Pain to Beyond, the only one up. I don't think is going to be able to secure this for Denial. It's just way too long in those respawn times. But if you look at these charts, literally only in the last minute has ClashNSlash taken either an XP lead or a gold lead. So they played that entire game from behind. Way to go, ClashNSlash. That was awesome.
They definitely earned that victory. And Denial just didn't get enough. I mean, it was like they were up 5,000-6,000 gold, and we're sitting there saying, just not sure it's going to be enough, not sure it's going to be enough, and there it was. It was not enough. Vamana 2 strength, and I have to look. I just got to take a peek here at player damage. 29k coming up from Divios. That's really nice, but 61,000 damage from Vulcan, 52,000 damage from Mace to the face, and Rush putting out an absurd amount of damage with Mystical Mark, 41k on the tier, but 61,000 from Jerby there. The turret just too much. That's nuts. That's so much damage. That last ultimate hit the Agni for like 1,700 HP.
Yeah, that was huge. But what's interesting here is you look at the sort of the spread of the player damage, right? Jerby is just dominant in the player damage there, and yet he is going to go 8-7, 8-7 and 9. So he, some good trades in terms of the KD there, but the player damage on the Nile side completely spread out across the team. You can't really even look at this game and say, oh well, as obviously the kills coming in from this side and deaths coming in from this side. That was you have to go back and watch that game to really understand what happened. That was Pecky's. So many props to Pecky's for map control. So many props to Divios for surviving and holding that out until the last possible moment. And